Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Jan, Patricia, and Peter. 1984, Part 182. These are letters based on the original publication, Small Shaw Family Memories Collection, or SFMC, number 94, published on May 11th, 2003. Letter from the editor of the SFMC. Yours truly, Peter J. Ray. Hi, everybody. How's everything? Well, the grim segment of this saga continues. The only thing I can say is where there's life, there's hope. As bad as things appeared in the 1983-1985 era, as hopeless as it appeared, there was a healing, a recovery, a miracle. Let's remember how good God was and is, and how there was a happy ending. In the present, in 2003, life goes on, and on and on. It is Thursday around noon, 12:20 p.m. to be precise. In about an hour, Tim and I will head over to Roosevelt Park for an afternoon of outdoor play and good, clean fun. For the time being, I have given up on the plan and program of youth sports at LaSalle and Green Hills. The kids just didn't show up. We had the facilities, we had the equipment, we had the leadership, but we didn't have the players. Ha ha ha. Anyway, I tried. Maybe in the future. So I guess we're better off at Roosevelt Park, where the area is much smaller, but there are a lot more children. And that means we're back to baseball played with tennis balls and rubber foam bats. So be it. I guess we'll go to LaSalle some days and swim for an hour before going to the park. I had a wonderful birthday. Thank you all so much for the magnificent birthday cards. They were so nice and thoughtful. And special thanks to Patricia for her package of the Rookie Video Sports Illustrated magazines, Dominican Republic t-shirt featuring Taino Indian art, and the Dominican Republic keychain. You hit the spot, Patty. Tough apples about Game 5 of the Lakers-Spurs, Mark. It really looked like Robert Horry was going to hit the game-winning three-pointer. What a ball game. I wouldn't count the Lakers out yet, though. As Yogi Berra used to say, it ain't over till it's over. On my birthday weekend, the SRF group here went to Sinaloa, Laguna, to the small fish farm of one of our members, Jewel Dizon. It was a beautiful place. Cool and rainy, so a break from the Manila heat. There were horses in the neighbor's farm, and we enjoyed watching them and hearing them whinny. A really beautiful spot. It was the first time that Alice, Tim, and I had been overnight away from home in the Philippines. So at least we made the trip. I have been quite intimidated by traveling in the Philippines because I hate to spend much time in the car, especially when the roads are bumpy and it's hot. I tend to get car sick. We bought Tim a nice new slick bicycle, a mountain bike. I had seen some boys riding bicycles at LaSalle, which inspired the idea of buying him a bike. We brought it to LaSalle, but were informed that bicycles were not allowed inside. Bummer. I was going to pursue asking for permission to bring it in, but now we'll just take it to Roosevelt Park. The people here are so sedentary it's hard to believe. And I guess that is what makes my summer youth sports program such a hard sell. When the adults are sedentary, they see no reason why their children shouldn't be sedentary. To be effective in making progress, we must be patient. Anyway, dear ones, wishing all of you a happy summer. See you in August. Love, Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. Monday, April 30th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, John, Sue, and I went to her church and prayed for the Holy Spirit to come into Peter's life. And I visited him for about an hour and a half in the morning. Last week, when I took him to a funeral, he visited the nursing home where he worked, cashed his last check, and later, when a girlfriend took him out, he had beer and went AWOL. He was gone for 24 hours, on amphetamines, Vicks inhalers again, and finally came back to Carly Donaldson's and neighbors, and John, Dick, and the doctor, and the police finally persuaded him to go back to the hospital. Friday, we're taking him to Columbus to interview the Harding place. John said it was the saddest day of his life when he had to call the police. Peter went quietly, but it took 3 hours to convince him. He phoned at 7 o'clock a.m., crying with a nightmare that John had been killed. He's been identifying with David Kennedy. I've had a bad cough. Beautiful day, terrific wind. The daffodils are full, the purple martins are swooping. God bless. Love, Ruth. Lovely pictures of Janet's family. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. May 17th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, Chris will be visiting you and hope that you have a good visit. Patty had many things to send you and we'll start. Had a wonderful visit with Patty. Her quartet played beautifully, just them, to an audience of about 200. I took a reception down for it. Rachel was here last weekend. She was accepted into St. Louis Conservatory, so it may have been her last trip here, maybe one more. Patty and her group play for a wedding here June 16th, and then she works in Chicago in a spinal cord rehab center at Northwestern University for the summer. I can't even write Peter's chronicle. Took a birthday to him. He had your card. Thanks. Lots of cards. He moved himself to another hospital for chemical dependency, mostly black people. Pray. On the east side of Cleveland, Woodruff Mental Hospital. We want to take him to Columbus Tuesday, but doubt if he'll go. Love you, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. May 21st, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, thank you for your phone call. Can't remember when I left off on Peter's chronicle. He's moved himself to another mental hospital. Lovely pictures from Janet. Had a reception for Patty's great concert in Cincinnati. Had a birthday for Peter at the mental hospital. We had 20 for turkey dinner for John's 60th birthday yesterday. I will write. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. May 21st, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, what a beautiful day it is today. The lake is calm, a few boats going by, trees coming out, the dogwood are blooming, still some tulips, the azaleas are coming. Today I finished the dishes from having 20 folks here for a turkey dinner for John's 60th birthday party. John's mother and Carol, Dale and Lenore, Carly and Dick Donaldson, Shar McQuilkin and her son Scott, Isabel Stevens. Her husband Dick died of cancer 2 years ago. Jean Gilroy, John's partner, whose wife died of cancer a few weeks ago. Judy, John's secretary, whose husband died 1.5 years ago. Lucy and Dr. Gordon Rodine, superintendent of schools. Lucy had a kidney transplant January 2nd. Her daughter married 3 weeks later. Shar and her son Scott, daughter Karen, just got 4th in another race. Sue and Len Bosworth and son Dan. Sue has tried to renew Peter's spirit. Ann and John Whites, John and I. He got about 20 birthday cards too. 2 years ago when you were here we had 27 folks for dinner. Then we went to New York. We had been to Peter's graduation and the World's Fair. We went to Cincinnati for Patricia's quartet. Very good. They had almost 200 there. Medical students, doctors, even the dean. They were a very attentive audience and got 2 curtain calls. Just the 4 of them played. I took a reception down. Cheese balls, crackers, flowers, wine, and ginger ale and cake and nuts. And they were so appreciative. I also took a birthday up to Peter in the psychiatric unit of Lakewood Hospital. Joanne McKenna, Sue, and Shar went with me. We took a cake and flowers and tablecloth, gifts and balloons and cards. He had a very bad week. He cried over the cards but would have nothing to do with the cake. Sunita had got cards. from his friends at Duke University, even a letter from a professor. He had your card up. Such a coincidence. You, Sunita, and I all had chosen the same card for him. He got about 20 cards. Rachel came and phoned him. Several weeks ago, John had taken him down to a new hospital in Columbus, and he seemed to like the idea of going. However, he changed his mind and went on a fast, hunger strike, and off his lithium. He was very angry. He even tried to hurt John. Sue tried to get the spirits to come out of him. He thinks the devil is in him. He did have a vision of himself being shot with an arrow, burning up and rising up from the flames, that God is greater than the devil. He has been quoting from Revelation in the Bible that we are damned. Last week he called me that he was moving to a new hospital. He called a new psychiatrist, and I took up his luggage, and he moved in an ambulance. It's a fine facility, but mostly black, in a black neighborhood on the east side of Cleveland. We're going to see him tonight. Last night he phoned that he might be willing to go to Harding in Columbus, where he might get better treatment. He would really like to get out, but concerned that he would get back on chemicals. However, now they have him on something again. He spends most of his time reading, so much. However, I bought him basketball shoes and shorts so that he can run and exercise. He doesn't feel well, though, either. We just pray there is an answer somewhere for him. I have so much empathy for Chris Field and you. We just try to keep going. Went to our church bridge dinner Friday, and they sang Happy Birthday to John. And then we went to a lovely wedding and reception in Bracknell. Saturday, John was honored at the Bar Association dinner, at the head table in his white dinner jacket. They gave him a nice speech about him and gave him a plaque. The orchestra played Happy Birthday, and 400 people sang. Sunday, John's mother said, I will survive, but we don't want to lose John. Hope you've had a nice visit with Chris. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, May 29th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, Peter seems to be somewhat better. Hope that you'll write to him since he's asked if we had heard from you. He's on several medications, but the new doctor seems to have turned his attitude. He has limited visiting hours, so is very lonely. Our friends from Iowa who went to England were there on the weekend, and we took them up. Peter had visited them on his way to San Francisco. Their son graduated from Dartmouth with Patty. Also, some friends from church whose son has recovered from drugs visited him. He's been phoning several girls, and Sunita is supposed to come this weekend from South Carolina. He is supposed to come home for the week, and so we're wondering how that will be. He wants to go to a Cleveland Indians baseball game. Although he's willing to visit Harding in Columbus for an interview with the doctor, he really wants to come home. We'll see. Patty is doing wonderfully well. She is getting honors in her preceptorship. Saw 2 babies delivered, 1 cesarean. She's writing a neurology exam now and a few more to go. Her best friend's father is president of CBS or NBC Television in Cincinnati and took them to dinner and a show and Critics Club, and he's a big wheel who knew everybody, and she loved it. They have a lovely home. Melissa's mother likes my paintings. Melissa has one from us for her wedding. Patty is bringing friends home, their quartet, in a couple of weeks, and tells us Mark and Jan may come too. Then she'll go to Chicago for the summer and summer job in spinal rehabilitation. Peter said he couldn't sleep last night and was talking to a big black man who looks like a caveman. He told Peter, "You need the man." He meant Jesus. Peter feels he's been dealt a bad life. He's preoccupied with the bad things in the world. The new doctor calls it personality disorder, that's agitative depression. Peter said marijuana made him psychotic. John and I read the Bible and meditate on God's goodness. We took the Blades to the yacht club and they bought one of my paintings. My show is still at St. Peter's, so after the party at the yacht club, our friends got the key to the church. And Saturday at midnight we went and they bought one of my paintings and want another one. Tomorrow I have my bridge luncheon here, duplicate, so have to figure out a salad and dessert that's innovative. So we'll have to go to the store and figure that one out. John and I went to the psychologist last week. John has been crying over Peter. It is like the grieving process. My flowers are looking good. John mowed the whole yard over the weekend, a big job. I think we should get a yard man. I'm so glad Patty is doing well and so happy. Hope she doesn't overload her brain. So glad you are getting things done that you wanted done. We've invited Mark and Jan to the Greenbrier in Virginia the first week in August. Maybe you'd like to come too. God bless. Love you. I'm okay. Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, June 1st, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, the lovely month of June, Bud's month and Pamela's. Beautiful day. Thought you might like this notepaper and brown ink pen to go with it. I will try to mail your Mother's Day gift, belated, the white jacket that I bought you. I thought that you might come down here in May when Chris was there and I could give it to you. Peter has asked what we'd heard from you, and when I said that you'd phoned, he asked what you'd said. When I told him you were worried about me as well as him, he thought that very amusing. He couldn't fathom you worrying about me, but he said always a mother, I guess, or something like that. He seemed better when he was on heavy medication, but then when they let it up, he got very belligerent with John again, especially when John brought up the subject of marijuana. So they put him back on Haldol, a tranquilizer, and when we took Carly and Dick last night, he seemed more relaxed and himself. The Reverend Dick Morris had been to see him yesterday, too, and he'd asked Dick about Pamela. Wants to talk to someone about Pam who knew her. John and I went to communion yesterday for Ascension Day, and Dick asked that I keep my art show up through Pentecost, June 10th. I had my bridge luncheon here Wednesday, duplicate. One table up in the studio and one in the living room. I served spinach salad with strawberries and Parmesan dressing and fruit salad with sweet and sour dressing and rum raisin pie with toasted almonds. Stayed from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we all prayed for Peter. He was supposed to come home for the weekend, and Sunita was to come tonight from South Carolina for the weekend, but I think it's too much for him and me, so he was to phone her and postpone the visit, and the doctor will see whether he could come home for the day, maybe a Cleveland Indians baseball game. However, when he gets too excited, he about explodes. He called Mark the other day and also meditated and got too high. Mark and Jan had considered coming home the weekend of the 16th when Patricia would be here, but John's dad is having open heart surgery, and they are trying to sell the second business and move, so they have enough going on. Patricia's bringing friends home too and playing in the wedding. I had the windows washed yesterday, $117. The garden is so lovely. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, June 5th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, another beautiful day, the beautiful month of June. Bud's birthday month and Pamela's. So many anniversaries. Dick and Joan's yesterday, Char's birthday today, Carly's Friday, taking Char to see Peter today, and taking her to a birthday dinner out. John has an office meeting. Peter came home for a few hours Saturday from 12 to 7. He was anxious to be home. He cleaned out his aquarium, took a bath, and had a nap in his own bed. Char and a friend came by. Carly's son, Rick Donaldson, who was Peter's friend through school, was home from law school on his way to work in Washington, D.C. They talked in the beach house for an hour. Peter's on 3 different drugs from the doctor. His doctor seems to be very good and has him in good control. A girlfriend phoned him to go to the ball game, Cleveland Indians, and he thought of getting an extension, but remembered he had to go back for his medication. Sunita had planned to fly up, but we thought it too much, so postponed. Patricia had a neuroanatomy exam yesterday and final today and final in physiology Friday, and it's true for this year. She comes home next week for a few days and then to Chicago for Northwestern University's Spinal Rehabilitation Center to work for 8 weeks. Mark and Janice are also coming home that week, June 14th to the 17th, so Peter can have his family reunion that he wants. It is all so sad. 3 months in psychiatric wards, and the hell he is going through, and us. Poor Dad. I used to think if only Dad had got some treatment. Now I think he'd never have gotten out again. Hope you are getting the things done you've wanted to. How was Chris's visit? Hope you are well. John mailed the white jacket yesterday. Love you. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, June 20th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, thank you so much for your letter. So glad that you have been getting all the things you want done. Lighting and pipes, so nice to have a light by your garage when you come home at night. Wonderful that you are still going out in your car to play bridge. I feel so lonely tonight. John played golf at Pine Ridge Country Club and has dinner and his investment club and poker tonight. I'm supposed to be. Just returned from taking a young woman from St. Peter's out to dinner. They're moving to Florida. Her husband is down there now. They have bought 3 of my paintings, so are my patrons, a lovely young couple. Last weekend was both wonderful and so sad, too. Patricia came to Cleveland last Wednesday. She passed her first-year medical school exams and is now a second-year student. What a tough road. I took her to see Peter at the hospital, and he was so very happy to see her. She had such a busy schedule while at home. 4 wonderful young friends from medical school came and stayed here. The young men in the beach house and the girls up here. They had parties Thursday and Friday nights, rehearsal dinner and brunches Saturday and Sunday, and a big wedding Saturday night. 3 tents for the wedding. Patty's quartet played for it. Mark and Jan drove 12 hours from Boston on Friday. John and I were at a dinner, as were Patty and friends. Saturday, Peter came home from the hospital. They went swimming at the yacht club pool when we went to dinner and a movie, and to church on Sunday. Saturday night he wanted to talk about Pamela and cried. Sunday noon when we went to the yacht club for brunch, he drank some wine and whiskey at home and went to the drugstore and ate 3 more Vicks inhalers. He got very abusive, and John and Mark didn't get him back to the hospital until 11 o'clock p.m. He's been suicidal again. Patty flew to Chicago to work at the Spinal Rehabilitation Center of Northwestern University. Mark and Jan drove back to Boston Monday. We all feel so badly about Peter's relapse. It is so sad, like we're losing him by inches. I've always felt so sorry for you. Now I feel so sorry for Dad, living in such an anguished state. Pray for us. I'm so glad you're still there, our matriarch. It was so wonderful to have everyone home, 9 here Friday and Saturday, but it was too much for Peter, although he'd look forward so much to having his family all together. He especially wanted to talk to Patty and seemed to resent all her friends. Janice's father is having quadruple heart surgery, open heart, the end of June. Mark and Janice are selling their other businesses and moving to San Diego, California, the end of July. They are meeting us at the Greenbrier, West Virginia, on July 28th, Janice's birthday, for a few days on their way to California. I think the climate will be better for Mark. This winter was so rough for him. We'll see. They're so happy and look well, both. It was wonderful to have them all home. I don't know if I can stand much more of this sadness over Peter. I'm so glad you had a lovely birthday dinner for Bud's. So lucky when he came for his and Pam's, centuries ago it seems. I don't know how Ted has stood losing almost his whole family. So lonely. Love you, God bless, love Ruth and John, Mark, Janice, and Patty, so happy. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, June 26, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, the beautiful month of June. We too would like to hold on to it, and life, your life, Peter's life. You're the matriarch of the family and hold on to so much of the past. You really should tape more of your memories and facts about the family. Last Sunday, Peter said if only Gus had lived nearer to him. He needs your love and prayers. It's absolutely gorgeous out here with the boats out on the beautiful Lake Erie. But we live in our minds, not in any place. Poor Peter's so tortured and so unhappy. I have more and more sympathy for Dad's life. I know Peter doesn't want to feel the way he does. He's so angry at the world, the capitalistic system, our way of life. He was home for the weekend. Seemed okay Saturday, but Sunday left us at church. He played tennis with a girlfriend Sunday afternoon and swimming at the yacht club. He walked with a friend Saturday night, talked to a doctor friend Sunday. We had a call from Harding Hospital in Columbus, and they recommended the Menninger Clinic in Topeka, Kansas for him. John talked to them out there, and they would take 6 weeks there to evaluate him. We would have to fly him out and visit. The doctor here would like to try him on another couple of weeks in the hospital and try another couple of weekends at home. Peter thinks he wants to be institutionalized for a long time since he's suicidal. Wants to be with Pamela. Patty is working in Chicago. It's further than Cincinnati, an 8-hour drive. Cincinnati was 4.5 hours, so Chicago isn't exactly nearby. $400 each way to fly. Congratulations on your reservation to the Mothers Union in Winnipeg. Will you go on to Toronto too to see Brendan, your only great-grandson, and your great-granddaughter Misty and Janet? We may be like Chris, no grandchildren. Mark sold the rug cleaning business last fall for $90,000, but the new owners have only paid $35,000 so far, so Mark is trying to get another $20,000 to settle for cash since the new owners are not as successful, didn't work as hard as he did. He's also trying to sell the Mohawk rug business for $100,000 and wants to stay with E.L. Williams Security Investment Business. But they want to relocate to San Diego because of the climate and Mark's health. He looks better, put on some weight, still thin, but they both look very happy. We're meeting them at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, driving there on July 28th, Janice's birthday. Hope it all works out. I'm playing duplicate bridge tomorrow. John has been so busy, had 9 lawyers all fighting, negotiating about the Rose Building downtown, plus other cases. He's so busy and so worried about Peter. We pray constantly and read my daily word so often. Peter has been meditating again. It helps him. Congratulations to Bud and Bill Andrews, 86, and his Bible study group. That's wonderful. Maybe Bud could get a reunion of some of your many pupils sometime. Wish I could think of something to send them. Love, John, Ruth, and Peter. P.S. While writing this letter, I got the idea of sending flowers or balloons to Bud for Bill's reunion, or calling you to send some, and I'd reimburse you. Then I decided to send a reunion banner and teacher award ribbon, so I went out, bought them, packaged, post office closed, so I got change and stamps and posted them. However, my last-minute efforts were probably in vain. John said there'd be no chance they'd arrive in time. So Bud will receive a banner and award late for this year, in time for the next event. Peter wants to go to Menninger's in Topeka, Kansas. Love, Ruth and John. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116, July 3rd, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, Bud's big reunion will be an event that will be remembered, I'm sure. Hope that you saw some of them, too. Hope to hear how it went. Peter was home for the weekend, and it went well, things he wanted to do. We had a wedding and brunch Saturday and then brought him home. A girlfriend of his came and others, several phoned. Then we went to the wedding reception at the Acacia Country Club, and Dr. Boder, Marco's father, took him to play tennis and fixed shish kebab. Sunday we went sailing, and they went to the Cleveland Indians baseball game. Patty will come home next weekend, $200 to fly round trip. She's enjoying her work. Peter may be released next week or go to Menninger's. He's on medications, antidepressants. Love you, Ruth, John, and Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. Monday, July 9th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, thank you for your letter and Peter's. Glad the jackets and blouses are okay. Did the jacket fit? I was afraid it might be small. The black blouse and skirt made a two-piece dress. Did it fit? Oh, Bud's reunion was a success. I'm sure it was. He seems to have something planned each year and a good host. Beautiful weekend here. Patricia arrived home Friday evening and we three went out to dinner. So good to have her enthusiastic spirit here. She's enjoying her work there. It's a rehabilitation center with severe trauma injuries. She's in the pediatrics section and sees hope in spite of the severe injuries. A spiritual outlook helps. We met with Peter's doctor, the psychiatrist, Saturday morning, and Peter came home for the weekend. They went swimming at the yacht club, and we went to a Chinese restaurant and a movie. Sunday we went to church. Dick Morris gave a good sermon on spiritual healing, and we went for a lovely sail in the boat. Saw Patty off at the airport and Peter back to the hospital. He is supposed to be released tomorrow. He has decided not to go to Menninger's right now and try it at home again. We certainly hope that he can. He wants his freedom. He is on medication for depression. He's a lot like Dad, negative feelings. I feel so sorry for him. Patty had a long talk with him. She seems to get along with him the best, but I'm the one that will be here with him. Wish me luck and pray. Bill Smith died Saturday. He had cancer of the throat and had just started chemotherapy. He was playing golf Saturday and just teeing off when he bent over. Barbara thought he was tying his shoe. What a nice way to go in view of his prognosis. Too soon, though. Barbara will surely miss him. He was quite an interesting fellow. We'll miss him at Lakeside, too. Carol and Dave had just visited them Sunday when they drove John's mother down to visit Lenore and Dale for a week. She'll be back today. John sent Janet a 26th birthday card, but we still haven't the right zip code, I believe. I also have a Cabbage Patch doll and sweater for Misty, but would like you to give them in person. Mark and Jan are coming in 2 weeks to go to the Greenbrier with us. Patty may come for the weekend also, but we don't know about Peter. We can't leave him alone again, and John doesn't know if Peter can stand going with us. John suggested sending him to you. Mark and Jan plan to leave their things in storage here and go on to California, come back via Montana, and here for Lakeside. They're thinking of relocating here in Rocky River. Said they'd like to help Peter and be near us. We'll see. Life is full of surprises. I doubt if the high-back chair will help Dad. We have seen so many people like that in the psychiatric ward. I think it is the medication they give them. They probably give him tranquilizers when he probably needs the opposite. He probably needs what Peter gets, antidepressants. Peter takes Tofranil, but I don't know if they can give it to older people or not. Bud might want to ask the doctor. Peter knows he cannot take alcohol or drugs. Just hope he can stick to it. He wants to go to an AA Big Book meeting Saturday morning with John. Says he's going to Narcotics Anonymous too. A big black man knocked Peter down last week in the hospital. Knocked him out. Dad's addiction, gambling, was less dangerous at least. I cried to think of Patty leaving. Sure need John. Tough on him too. God bless. Love, Ruth. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. Thursday, July 12th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, another beautiful day on the lake. Summer. Peter came home Tuesday afternoon. John and I brought him home. They went swimming in the lake that evening. Seems clean. Yesterday we went to Marion for Bill Smith's funeral, graveside for the family at 3:30, back to Barb and Bill's lovely home for dinner, and to the memorial service at 8 o'clock p.m. Barb thought 350 folks came so a real tribute. We got home about midnight, so a long first day. Thought you might like Patty's address to drop her a note. We hope to go to the Greenbrier in 2 weeks. Mark and Jan are coming here first, and Patty is flying from Chicago for the last weekend. Hope it works out. Monday, July 16th, 1984. Peter's been home a week tomorrow, hanging in there. Keep praying. God bless. Love, Ruth, John, and Peter. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. July 25th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, another beautiful day on Lake Erie. Praise the Lord. We leave Saturday, July 28th for 8 days at the Greenbrier. Mark and Janice are meeting us there, her birthday. The 5th anniversary of their blessing was Sunday the 22nd. They've decided to stay in Massachusetts and bought a small home there in Worcester, Massachusetts. Patty is flying down to the Greenbrier for a few days, too. Peter has relapsed and is back in the hospital. Very disappointing, devastating. Thanks for writing him. Write again? He was home for 8 days. Love you, Ruth. Pray. P.S. He's been so very sick, crying. We haven't visited him. The Greenbrier, White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, 24986. July 28th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, we're enjoying the beautiful Greenbrier with Mark and Janice. Janice's birthday, cake, tennis, shuffleboard, dining, swimming. Patty coming Thursday. Come to Lakeside August 18th. Love, Ruth and John. The Greenbrier, White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, 24986. Tuesday, July 31st, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, a beautiful day, the rolling hills, huge evergreens and white oaks, green meadows, the gathering place for the elite of the Old South. During the Civil War it was a hospital, and during World War I, too. In World War II, all the foreign diplomats were interned here, and then also a hospital. After it was refurbished, and is truly a beautiful place. We have a lovely suite with Mark and Janice, and Thursday Patty arrived. We've played shuffleboard and tennis, and they played golf, and we've been swimming. Saw the Canadian girl win the gold medal for Canada in swimming last night. Wonderful, 2 gold medals. One Olympic swimmer trained here. I wonder if you'd like to come to Lakeside August 18th. Think you enjoyed it when you came before. I just sold one of my paintings here to a friend from Phoenix, Arizona. Only $65, so a bargain for her. Pays for one dinner. Pretty painting, white flowers on lilac's background. Don't know if John approves of me doing this, though, selling paintings here. Wednesday, just sold another painting for $135. Daisies and iris. Friday, Saturday, Patty arrived. We've been swimming. They've played golf. We've been eating. Sunday we go home, and Monday Peter comes home from the hospital, and Tuesday we are supposed to fly to Topeka, Kansas, for Peter to go to the Mendinger Mental Hospital there. If that goes as planned, he may be there for a year. Pray for us and Peter. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, Janice, and Patty. 21508 Avalon Drive, Rocky River, Ohio, 44116. Monday, August 13th, 1984. Dearest Mother and Dad, Bud and Joan too. I feel as though we've just been through a war and it's not over, but we're having a reprieve, a lull in the shooting. We had a fine time at the lovely Greenbrier with Mark and Jan, Patty too, 8 days. Fortunately, Mark and Jan came home with us too and should be back again Friday for another week at Lakeside. We had swimming, tennis, golf, fishing, dining, dancing. Home Sunday. Last Monday, John brought Peter home from the hospital. Mark helped so much by being with him all day, going to the store, swimming, basketball, frisbee. Tuesday, I helped him pack and had Mark and Peter's photos taken. John was so busy with cases in court. Mark and Jan drove us to the airport and we flew to Topeka, Kansas, the Menninger Clinic. It's a good place, best in the country. They were surprised at how much medication he was on and cut it down and hope he'll be off it this week. I think Dad and the others in the hospital have too much also. We stayed for 2 days and Peter cried after we left. That night he said. We had family sessions and an NA meeting, Narcotics Anonymous. It's a spiritual place, I feel. Mostly doctors are patients. Peter's in a group of 7, one a vascular surgeon, widow of a cardiologist, son of a doctor, president of a company, etc. We phoned him last night and he seemed to be feeling better. We'll call him Friday when Mark and Jan and Helen arrive. They are talking about a year in Kansas, 14 months there, $135,000 a year. John gave them a check for $2,500 to start. When we got to Kansas City, there was a storm in Chicago, so we had to stay overnight there. Then we went to Chicago. The next day, I went to see Patty. I took a bus to her area and walked to the medical center. It was quite a contrast. Menninger's is quiet, campus-like, low buildings. Northwest is high-rise. I talked to patients, one a diabetic paralyzed from flipping into his family's swimming pool. I was so proud of Patty in her white coat. Everyone seemed to like her. One medical student told me first thing what an inspiration she had been to him. Their team, the doctor, residents, medical students, invited me to go with them to lunch. I also listened to very interesting lectures. A man whose arm was amputated in an industrial accident, so much pain. We met Jill, Patty's roommate from New York again, and a young resident doctor that Patty knew from Dartmouth. He'd been to Georgetown Medical School, most expensive in the U.S. He took Patty to a movie in the Symphony Saturday. Very nice, tall, blonde. So I came home after a nice visit. We went to Degas at the Art Institute. Tried to call Cousin Fisher. Address, very tired. Topeka, Kansas is straight south of Winnipeg. Chris phoned. She and Bill are coming to Lakeside. Char's daughter was in a car accident. Her other daughter had a baby son 6 weeks early. Love you. Love, Ruth. Now we have 3 letters to the editor based on the original publication. The first is from my father, John S. Ray. Dear Editor, regarding SFMC number 94. 4 beautiful pages of pictures. Thanks. What a wonderful positive letter from the editor. What a wonder your mother is, taking a reception to Cincinnati for Patricia's quartet. What a perilous time for you and for each of our family members. Thank God for his help and your being led to meditation. Big anniversary number 18 approaches. Congratulations. Love, Dad. John S. Ray, Rocky River, Ohio. And the next letter is from my mother, the author, Ruth Smallshaw Ray. Dear Editor Peter, SFMC's 93 and 94, your beautiful photos are amazing. Where did you find them? I hadn't even remembered the ones from the Greenbrier. What courage it took for you to type up the letters. Such a sad time for us all. I read the chronicles the moment they come. I'm now surprised that I took our friends to visit you. We were so bewildered at what was happening. Praise the Lord that there is a positive outcome and that you survived it all. There were so many crises times. A roller coaster. I'm now glad that I wrote to Mother. She seemed to have more empathy, love. Thank you for keeping on. Blessings. Patricia's career as a psychiatrist is one result, I believe. Love, Mother Ruth. And this final letter is from my sister Patricia A. Ray. Hi, Peter. I read SFMC number 94. It must have been so hard for you to type that up. I thank God that you came out of all that pain to be the wonderful person you truly are. Love, Patty. Patricia A. Ray, M.D., Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.